Hello everyone and welcome to week 2 of Bad Predictions Formula 1 edition. But this week I've actually written it before the first race of the season. Of course, preseason testing has happened, but with different tire compounds, fuel loads, and run plans, it's a bit hard to tell what each team has brought for the new season. But I feel pretty confident in saying that Red Bull will still be the top team this year. They seem so far ahead of everyone else last year that even with the cost caps and limited testing, it doesn't really seem like anyone has really moved up that far to take them down. Although some could make an argument for Ferrari, they seemed close to Red Bull in preseason testing and they weren't all that far behind last year. Now, I really like the team principal Frederick Vasseur, so it's a shame he'll be retiring in 2 to 3 years. No, but seriously, I think the direction of team that has been developed with Binotto is good. I like Vasseur and their drivers are talented, but as a Vettel fan, I lost whatever faith I had in Ferrari like 5 years ago. But here's to looking up. I think they could be the second best team this season again. Now this is a right front tire for my favorite team in Formula 1, Force India, or Racing Point. But they don't exist anymore. Technically, they're Aston Martin now, and it's less cool now that they have money. But do I believe all the preseason hype and think they're going to be podium competitors? Maybe. But even if they are, I think Mercedes is going to progress more over the course of the year and by the end of the season take the place of the third team, leaving Aston at fourth. Next, and directly in the midfield, I'm going to go for Alfa Romeo. Do I think the preseason testing is a bit inflated from tires and run plans? Yes. But they also didn't continually have parts failures like most of last year. So if the reliability has improved, they could have some consistently good performances, and that could put them ahead of 6th place Alpine. And not even because I think Alpine will have a slower car, but if they are competitive, I just don't believe their drivers will be able to not get in each other's way for the entire season. Pierre and Esteban already have a history. Esteban has a history of being at odds with several of his teammates, and Pierre doesn't strike me as the calmest person either. Maybe I'm wrong and they'll reconcile their differences and become best friends, but I'm expecting if they're competitive, they're going to end up tripping over each other and cause the team to lose some points throughout the season. Then I think this is either my second or third wild prediction, and say Haas will actually be ahead of McLaren. I already thought McLaren would struggle this year. Either Piastri struggles at the start, being both a rookie and missing a year of racing last year, or he's immediately competitive with Lando and they get in each other's way. Piastri doesn't strike me as someone who will just roll over and give up his position if they cross each other on track. Then, when you couple that with the less than auspicious preseason testing, I'll just say that McLaren goes backwards. Then, if Ferrari does well, I think Haas will inherit some of that performance. And while K-Mag and the Hulk do have a brief history together, I think the more mature drivers with second chances at Formula 1 will prevail and get along. Then of course, for the last two, while I think they will have improvements in performance, I don't think it's going to be enough to bump them up in placement. Plus, they both have new drivers that will probably need a few races to adjust. Then, just because of Williams' genius Duracell battery sponsorship placement, I don't want to put them last again this year, but I will, with them finishing behind AlphaTauri. Then that does it for the teams. But what about the other stuff this year? Best rookie by end, I think, will be Nick de Vries. He's at a bit of a car disadvantage, I think, but he's got the most experience, and based on testing, the McLaren could be in the garage fixing its wheel arches for half the races. First race of the season will probably be won by Max, then Carlos in second, and Checo in third. I think Charles will be competitive, but something will happen and he won't be on the podium. And I think that's going to be the story of the season, with Max Verstappen winning the championship again. I just think Red Bull was too far ahead in performance last year, and it doesn't really look like anyone has gained that much on them, and I doubt Red Bull has lost performance. And now that Vettel has retired, I think Sergio is probably my favorite driver. But I'm also realistic, and I just don't see him beating Max throughout the year. But maybe we'll be surprised. Other questions. Will Alonso fight for a win? No. But could he get a win if the Red Bulls or Ferraris are out of the race, or Aston pulls off a wild strategy with good timing of yellow flags? Yes. Will Nico Hülkenberg finally get a podium? Sorry, no, try again next year. How many people will be on a podium this year? I'm going to guess 7. Both Red Bulls, both Ferraris, both Mercedes, and Alonso. How many winners will there be this season? Again, I'm going to go 7. Both Red Bulls, both Ferraris, both Mercedes, and Stroll, because that would be the most Stroll thing ever. If the car is decently competitive this year, I could see him finishing 9th in half the races, 12th in half the races, and then one race he dusts the field on pure pace alone, and then gets a win, and then goes back to sleep for the rest of the season. Might be crazy, but remember this video if it happens. But I think that about does it for Wild and Crazy Ramblings. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Who do you think is going to be champion? Is my team Constructor order too wonky? Will Hulkenberg get a podium? And how many teammates do you think will not get along this year? But if you like this stuff, then please consider subscribing. I may make another one of these videos about IndyCar next week, after the first race of the season. And my normal driver profile background videos are still in progress. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Driver Profiles.